should have to go through this. So what one local family is doing is trying to send a message, one that is perhaps uncomfortable to read, but in their view, very necessary. Good evening, everyone. Words are hard to come by when you lose a child.
And the words some Middletown parents chose are resonating with people all across the country. Local 12 Sydney Benter tells us how a heartbreaking obituary is having an impact. Sydney.
Rob, no parent wants to imagine losing a child, let alone how they'd share that news with others. Well, a couple from Middletown chose their words carefully and hope that their daughter's death is able to save lives, especially in Butler County, where there have been 86 heroin-related deaths in the first half of this year.
Allison was pretty much interested in everything, and she was just a bright, extroverted kid.
She had a lot of things going. Her first apartment, her first car. She was happy.
That's how Allison Shoemake's parents want to remember their youngest child. She'd been to rehab, to AA and NA, and even to private counseling, but all the support in the world wasn't enough to keep heroin from creeping in and taking another young life.
At 18, you think you're invincible and, you know, all of those old grown-ups rules don't apply to you, and she didn't mean to leave us.
But when she did, the Shoemakes didn't want her killer to hide in the shadows. That's why when they chose the words that would define their daughter's life, they started with how she died. Allison Shoemake passed away of a heroin overdose. It's the first line in her obituary.
We don't want this to happen to any other family. Whether they're a grown-up or a teenager, they're still somebody's child. And no parent should have to go through this.
The family's bold statement has been shared online all over the country. The support that's come flooding in has helped them grieve.
I worry about the people who didn't get that, whose child died, and they didn't feel like they could say it. So do they just get whispers behind their backs, or nobody comes at all? I don't know. They deserve more.
And Allison's boyfriend, Luther Combs, also died of an overdose that day. His obituary reads the same way. We've been getting a lot of feedback about this on our Local 12 Facebook page. We want to share some of those comments with you. Terry says, bold, courageous parents. Fred Shoemake, you and your family are in my prayers. Pearl writes, they were courageous to do what they did. They don't want other parents to go through with what they had to endure. I applaud them for not covering this up. My condolences to the parents. Chris disagrees. He says, no, close family and good friends know the cause of death. I'd prefer to keep these things private. Finally, Michelle says, prayers to you and both families. Last year alone, I lost 14 friends due to heroin overdose and 8 this year. This disease is very powerful and deadly. May God wrap his arms around both families. And you can join the discussion by heading over to our Facebook page. Rob?
Sydney, thanks very much. Sojourner, a drug treatment facility in Butler County, tells us at least 4 people have called to begin treatment after reading Allison's obituary.